Props and Locks on Fox 10 is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more.
Hey, welcome into Props and Locks, brought to you by FanDuel. I'm Sierra Santos, and this is it. Our final episode of Props and Locks, at least until next football season. And Ben Stevens, host of the Morning After on Sports Grid, has guided us through this world of legal sports betting from day one. First off, Ben, thank you for being our betting bestie.
It has been my distinct pleasure. The honor is all mine. I don't know what I will do, not being called a betting bestie at least once a week by Sierra Santos, but I will have to walk into that void when we reach that point. But it has been a pleasure to be a part of Props and Locks. I hope I've been able to educate the good folks at the Valley about how to responsibly wager online and hopefully win you some money along the way.
I hope that you get it tattooed somewhere on your body in the next couple weeks. All right, so now that I'm done being sentimental, lip tattoo? Yeah, I dig it. Okay, the Sweet 16 wrapping up tonight. So let's talk about the Elite 8 matchups tomorrow. Houston is back in the Elite 8 for a second consecutive season, and they have been dominating, blowing through teams by double-digit figures, knocking out U of A. They're a 2-point favorite over a second seed, a higher seed, Villanova.
And Houston is a number 5 seed. Yes, they are a lower seed than the Villanova Wildcats, but Houston is the best number 5 seed we have ever seen in the history of the NCAA tournament. Houston is second in the metrics when it comes to the efficiency ratings on KenPom. They are ranking ahead of Arizona even before that matchup in the Sweet 16 on Thursday. The metrics have loved Houston all year long, and now that metric performance is matched by the on-court performance we are seeing out of the Cougs in Kelvin Sampson. I am not going to be one to walk in front of the Houston Cougars right now, and the spread is short. It's going to be a competitive game against Villanova, but Houston is 25-12 against the spread. I'm not going to pick against the Cougs any longer.
Okay, the other biggest storyline of the weekend, will Coach K get back into the Final Four? It is going to be the biggest game. Duke in Arkansas. The Razorbacks, a 3.5-point underdog. I feel like, how can you bet against Duke?
Oh, I can bet against Duke, and I plan on betting against Duke. I'm not here for the sob story and the retirement tour of Coach K. Maybe it's the Syracuse blood within me, but I'm not a huge fan. I know that the narrative is there that would send Duke to the Final Four, and all the credit in the world to the Blue Devils. The way they have closed out games, especially with this young, inexperienced roster in the Big Dance, has been nothing short of impressive. They did not miss a single shot in their final 8 minutes and 55 seconds against Texas Tech on Thursday night in the Sweet 16. But I'm riding the must bus. I think the retirement tour bus stops and the must bus continues on. Arkansas 5-1 against the number this year. When booked as an underdog, they have won outright in 3 of those 5 games. And that defensive intensity we saw Arkansas bring against Gonzaga, I think works wonders against Duke as well.
I like that you're not for the Hollywood storyline at all. All right, so here are the odds for the NCAA champion. Houston right now is your favorite, plus 360, Duke plus 400, and Villanova plus 700, although these, of course, are going to change.
Absolutely so. A lot of this market will change when we wake up on Saturday morning, following what all comes to a conclusion and when the markets adjust after the Sweet 16 is completely done. But again, I'm not surprised to see Houston at the top of this board at plus 360. The metrics and the odds have loved the Cougars all year long. It would not shock me in about 12 hours from now when we wake up on Saturday entering the Elite 8 if Houston is still the favorite to win a national championship. And that's how I feel, and that's how the strong market feels about the Cougars as well.
All right, so which conference is going to win the tournament? The ACC right now is the favorite at plus 290. Now, my question to you, do you get these bets in right now, or do you wait until Saturday morning?
Well, I think the ACC presents some opportunity currently at the moment. Obviously, the ACC performing much better in the NCAA tournament than it did throughout the regular season. If you're looking for value here, because we're really down to one team for every lead, there's not a crop that's going to lead us into the Final Four. The Big East and that price on Villanova is really where we are dictated from. And if the Friars continue to get fired up, maybe there's some value in there as well.
My favorite thing, fired up. All right, we're going to the NIT after the break. We're really going to make Ben earn his money today. So we got more college hoops coming up. Yeah, lip tat right here.
Welcome back to Props and Locks, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook.
We're back on Props and Locks, and in this segment, we really want Ben to earn that paycheck. And I know my ears are going to be perked up because we are talking about the National Invitation Tournament. In the NIT semifinals, the Bonnies and the Musketeers. Xavier is a 2-point underdog, over/under 140.5.
I don't love the Xavier Musketeers even where they are right now in the NIT. The hope is for the future in Cincinnati, Ohio. Sean Miller, the new head coach of Xavier, who was the old head coach of Xavier before he got to Arizona, as you all know, is back at the helm of that Musketeers men's basketball program. He was introduced on Friday afternoon. I think that's where the focus is. St. Bonnie so far in the NIT, won 3 straight, covered in all 3. I look at the Bonnies to get the job done over Xavier.
Okay, in the other half, it is Washington State and Texas A&M. The Aggies favored by just a point. Is this too close to call?
No, I don't think it is. In fact, I think you're getting a good number here on Buzz Williams and the rest of those Texas A&M Aggies. I was shocked to see where the NCAA Tournament Selection Committee had Texas A&M following their run in the SEC tournament to reach the title game, ultimately falling to Tennessee, who was the hottest team in the country, entering the big dance. And not only did Texas A&M not get into the big dance, they also were not even the first team left out of the NCAA tournament. And I think that's galvanized this group. I think they've played well through all that we have seen here now in the postseason. I don't think that stops against the Cougs of Wazoo. So I would go Texas A&M at virtually a pick'em number. I'm taking the Aggies.
Everyone's a little salty when they get left out. NIT champion odds. Who do you like here, Ben?
I'm going with Texas A&M again. I think this is Texas A&M's tournament. I understand they are the favorite, but still a plus money price. And look at the difference in the numbers there. We're less than 70 cents away from where Texas A&M is as the favorite at the shortest number from where Xavier is with the longest odds at plus 280. So yes, I'm going chalky by picking the favorite, I guess you could say, but the odds are so close. There's really not a huge discrepancy there. I'm going with Texas A&M. I think they're out to prove a point.
All right, coming up for the very last time, Ben breaks out the crystal ball for our last and usually favorite part of the show. We're back in Coke Timeout.
Props and Locks, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook.
Thanks for staying up late with us on Props and Locks. I know there's nowhere I'd rather be on a Friday night, and week in and week out, Ben has given us the best bets of the week. And with the exception of ASU, I've reaped the benefits of his expertise, and now he's busting out his ball, his crystal ball, to peer into the future. So let's talk NFL, Ben. Tyreek Hill was traded to the Dolphins this week, but the Chiefs still plus 155 to win the AFC West. The Dolphins are plus 400 to win the East.
Yeah, I think the movement here after another blockbuster deal in the NFL during this offseason is more indicative on the price of the Chiefs than it is for the Dolphins. The Dolphins still tied for the second best odds in the AFC East, but the Buffalo Bills are minus 180 to win that division. The Chiefs still the favorites in the AFC West at plus 155, but the number working against them by 30 cents from earlier in the week. They might have value now, and you have to keep them the short favorite. And until they lose the divisional title, which they have won for 6 straight years, you keep them up there. But the Chargers are getting close. The Broncos are getting close. And the Raiders have the longest odds. And Las Vegas was a playoff team last year. The craziest division in all of football.
All right, the most valuable player on our show is you, Ben. But let's take a look at the NFL odds for MVP, right? Josh Allen plus 700, Patrick Mahomes plus 700, Kyler Murray plus 2,000.
Yeah,
quite a contrast from last year, let's say.
Yeah, 20-1 on Kyler for a guy that's still trying to restructure that contract and be a part of all the money we have seen move this NFL offseason. Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes are going to be at the top of this NFL MVP board probably for the next 15 years. That's what we're going to see pretty much each and every season. But Aaron Rodgers has won it 2 straight years. Tom Brady is going to be 45 in his 23rd NFL campaign. The narratives are there for the quarterbacks in the NFC, and things are a lot easier out there than in the AFC.
And for the first quarterback taken in this year's draft, not necessarily a robust QB class, but who do you like?
I would look at Malik Willis. He is the odds-on favorite for a reason. I think he will be the first quarterback selected. Of course, Kenny Pickett is an interesting person as well, a Heisman finalist out of Pitt. He was the favorite when this market opened. That has now become Malik Willis because of the incredibly high ceiling that the quarterback out of Liberty has. So that will be my pick right now. The question will be, does Detroit take a long shot on Malik Willis at number 2? That's where the draft gets interesting.
All right, Ben, plug yourself so that people know where they can continue to follow all the best bets.
I will indeed. It is the morning after on Sports Grid each and every weekday, 9 a.m. Eastern time. We keep you locked and loaded each and every time. What a pleasure it has been to be out here in Phoenix on Props and Locks.
As always, check the FanDuel app for the latest nines. That's a wrap, baby.